I did. We practiced 9 times. 10. He's coming with living the dream by healthy living. Bless God for him.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Good morning, family. How y'all doing?
Good morning. Well.
Good. Brother Edwards, thank you for that cardio workout this morning. I think we have, first of all, thank you to the organizers. I'd like to thank the 100 Black Men of Bolivar County and the host United Baptist Church for the privilege of invitation. My name is Fakorede. That's close, brother. Got it. I am privileged to stand before you as a proud son of God, a proud son of parents who immigrated to America in the 1990s, grew up in North Jersey, immigrated down south around 2013, lived in Tennessee for about 1.5 years, and started my cardiology practice here in 2015. We rejoice, Lord, in the sufficiency of your grace and the perpetual beneficence of your mercy on our lives today, because through them promises are established. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The rest of the country has seen a 30% decrease in heart and vascular disease from 1990 to 2017, which are impressive numbers, one might say. However, the trajectory here in Mississippi has been different. We have seen a 28% increase in heart and vascular disease between Tunica and Vicksburg around the same time. The life expectancy of a man living in Tunica is ranked 150th in the world, 68 years old. The average life expectancy for someone who's living in Kuwait is 68 years old. We spend $3 trillion a year on our healthcare dollars, but we're ranked at the bottom when it comes to healthcare. And majority of the disparity affects the African American community. Dr. Martin Luther King, in March of 1966, gave a speech at the National Convention of the Medical Committee on Human Rights in Chicago. Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. His words. If 75% of the population is overweight or obese, and 1 in 3 adults are going to become diabetic by the year 2050, and we have the lowest number of physicians in the country, and we also have the poorest access to quality care, how do we expect to have a healthier society here in the Mississippi Delta? There's only one solution to that. That solution stands on the hands and the minds and the spirits of everyone in here in adopting a different mindset when it comes to your health care. The prevention is better than cure. So how do we become preventative in our mindset? You have to first understand and be informed as to what's going on in your community. Your race, your income, your insurance status, your first points of medical contact, your geographical location all determines if you live or if you die. They also determine if you get your limbs amputated, if you suffer a heart attack, if you have a stroke, or if you undergo dialysis. 90% of all the amputees that have been counted in Mississippi have never had a proper vascular evaluation in their lifetime. 90%. Unfortunately, 80% of all those amputees will be dead within 5 years of their initial amputation. And so you wonder why that first statement I made about our life expectancy is important, because the practices that are occurring within our society are inhumane and unjust. And so we need to start tackling these issues within our communities, within our homes, and not have doctors, hospitals checkmate the lives of the society or of minorities or of the poor just for that dollar or that profit or economic gain. So, the lack of educational awareness is accepted as normalcy, even though 90% of these cases are preventable, if aggressively screened and treated in a timely manner by the right doctor. The only normalcy to settle is settle for a normalcy that recognizes the dignity in preserving one's lives and limbs, irrespective of skin, your color, socioeconomic status, or your zip code. And so becoming the voice for the voiceless should be our mantra. Every 30 seconds that a limb is amputated due to PAD or diabetes, we should focus more on trying to figure out how to become preventative before we become a diabetic. What's our sugar intake? What's our salt intake? What are our symptoms? That chest pain that you've been having for a while, now I'm talking to the women in the audience. That fatigue, that dizziness that you ignore while you take care of the husband, the boyfriend, the father, the daughter, the kids, the church, the dog, right? We take care of everyone before we recognize our symptoms. So by the time we seek out medical care, it's too late in the progress. That's why 1 in 3 women will be dead of a heart event or cardiovascular event in their lifetime, every 40 seconds. That could be prevented. Anyone who snores excessively, anyone who feels fatigued or tired during the course of the day, when you felt you've had that lack of sleep, and you've never had a sleep study, and you've gone to see multiple doctors who told you your blood pressure is so high, and they give you medicine upon medicine upon medicine. That solution is very easy. It's actually called a sleep study, a sleep apnea test. You put on CPAP, it gives you good oxygen, you feel better. So when they tell you you can lose weight or you need to exercise or walk more often, you can do so. And then you lose the weight and you don't need the medications, or your sugar levels decrease to a point where you're no longer diabetic and you don't need the medicines. So you save money that can go to your pockets, your kids' future savings, or a nice vacation, rather than spending it on recurrent visits to see physicians such as myself, or the ERs, or spending on these hospitals. That's the mindset we have to adapt. Because the cost of these unjust practices is costing $250 to $400 billion a year to our healthcare dollars. Imagine what we can do with that money in the Mississippi Delta. So we no longer have to be complacent, but we have to be informed. At our practice here in Mississippi, Cardiovascular Solutions of Central Mississippi, there's one mantra that every single person who walks in that door is a family member. And that should be the mantra of every hospital, any clinic here in Mississippi. They're your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your cousin. And so listening and engendering the trust of every patient, community, comprehensive screening and testing. Get tested early. If you're over the age of 25, you should have your blood pressure checked every 2 years. Check your blood pressures at home, not in the hospitals or in the doctor's offices. Do y'all know that? Because in my clinic, your blood pressure is going to be high, I'll tell you that much. And so inherently, I'm supposed to prescribe a medicine, but no. Anyone who's been to my office knows this policy. I will send you home, and you come back to me with a 1-week log of your blood pressure readings. I need to check it at home where you're comfortable, where you're not stressed, unless the kids are running around, but that's a different story. But that is the mindset, if you understand where I'm trying to go with this. Get a blood pressure cuff that's updated, not 5 years old, 2 years old, all right? Check your thyroid, women. Your thyroid function needs to be checked. If you're over the age of 20, you should have it checked. Cholesterol has to be checked every 3 years. If you've had heart disease or you've had a stroke, you should have a stress test every 2 years. These are basic tenets of the foundation that will lead us to become community navigators, to transform the trajectory of our healthcare system here in the Mississippi Delta. And so, we need innovative programs to forge a connection between healthcare provision and progress for individuals and community and health outcomes. And for every kid listening to me today, gone are the days where it's not cool to be a doctor or to be a businessman or to be a lawyer. But to have someone who looks like you take care of your mom or your dad is very important. That term is called statistical discrimination, meaning that the probability of me taking care of you is based on how I've taken care of others who look like you. So what are the chances that if I were someone who amputated limbs of an African American all the time, what are the chances that I'll continue such practices? Very high. So guess who needs to stop that? We need policy action, but we need more doctors, more providers from our community who reflect the community as well. Amen. And so with that said, in closing, we speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all those who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and the needy. Which is Proverbs 31, 8 to 9. And as Dr. King said, he had a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a desert state of sweltering in the heat of injustice and oppression, will one day be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. But on his 90th birthday today, let's add one addendum, that Mississippi will become an oasis of health equality and community-driven health initiatives that will change the trajectory of our care here in the Mississippi Delta. God bless you.